So my question is this, right? Speaking of Donda, so after the release of this album, Drake decided to release the song "Life of the Party" by Kanye and Andre 3000. To me, this has been one of the more interesting things of the weekend. Me personally, I like that song a hell of a lot. Like, I think that song is like a really good song. I think it's a really great verse from Andre 3000. I think Kanye West verse is the verse that a lot of people have been wanting to hear from a long time from Kanye. So like when I heard it, I was just like, damn, like one, to me, when I hear it, I don't really understand Drake's logic as in putting it out because like it'd be one thing if you put out this song, which is meant to be a diss song, at least a decent portion of it is. Why would you put out this song that is super dope? It'd be like if it was trash, okay, I understand why you put out a Kanye West song that's trash. But you put out a song that's dope, that's dissing you. And I'm just like, okay, well, Kanye West doesn't really have to do anything because you essentially play. It would be like if we were in a fight and I saw you throwing a good hook at me and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to let it hit me. You know what I mean? And it's like, why would you do that? You know, like you could have just completely avoided it and kept it in the tuck, but instead you put it out and it's like, it seems like the general thought on the song is, wow, this is dope and we need more of it.
I just think that yes, I agree. It backfired on Drake. But I think, and this is just my theory. I think Drake put that out because I don't think, like I believe, he doesn't take Kanye seriously from a beef standpoint. And I think when he probably heard that song, he probably looked at it as like, oh, this is a joke. Nothing ain't gonna happen from him. Watch me put this out. I'm gonna have a lot of people agree with me. And unfortunately, it just backfired on because people are like, hey, this is better than the whole CLB. Then you have people that are like, hey, this is, I like this song. I want to hear more of it. So I think that was an L for Drake for sure. But I think that's why he put that song out because he probably thought, hey, everybody's going to join in on laughing with me at this song.
Yeah, I mean, I actually see it differently. I think this was like a really smart move by Drake personally. Kanye had came out and was verbal about, hey, if you diss me on your album, I will have something to say, right? I do agree that I think this is an amazing song between that Kanye and Andre 3000 made. And it's a song that made just like I live with the same sentiment as any other fan. Like, hey, I want to hear more music like this from Kanye West. If Kanye West made an album like that, if he put out an album like that this year, it would have easily been like an argument for possibly the number one album of the year, honestly, just because it would be in that conversation. But I also think the thing is because on CLB, we haven't really spoke on it, but on CLB, Drake does this Kanye West on 7 a.m., right? And 7 a.m. as well as a couple other songs, he takes shots at Kanye West throughout the album. We know at that point you already know, okay, this is more than likely going to be the next move that Kanye's going to go for. So instead, it's like, hey, I'm going to show your hand. So because I think if this had came out as a diss record from Kanye West, this would have the impact of it would have been so much more versus we're not talking about this most people are not talking about this as a diss record. Most people are talking about this as this is a great record. This is a fire song. I like the song. No one's thinking, because when people talk about it being a song, they're talking about the beat, they're talking about the style of rapping, they're talking about the subject matter.
Right.
And not necessarily about like any other time when Back to Back came out, when Pusha T dropped Son of Adidon. Heck, we can go back to 300 Bars and Running to 50 Cent. This is so on and so forth. There's always been this thing of, hey, did you hear what he just said? Oh, yeah, I got to listen to it again because you're listening for the diss. In this case, it's like, I'm going to drop your song. What I dissed you. I know you're going to diss me back. This is the song you're going to diss me with. I'm going to drop it. It'd be the same as like how you said with the fighting thing, right? If I see someone coming with I know he's going to hit me with a right hook. I'm not going to sit there and wait for it, but I'm going to call it like, oh, you about to throw that hook and step back. Now you miss your shot. And it already throws you off because it's like, this guy saw it coming. So he already is like you see
That,
what
that
consequence.
that's a little fantasy though.
I mean,
Because
is it fantasy or
you tell me how many MMA fights you've seen or boxing fights where somebody's throwing
yes.
and then you say, "Oh, you're about to throw a right hook," and then they just miss it,
I'm not saying in the most literal sense. I'm talking about in terms of the example that Nigel used.
Well, here's my thing though, right? What I feel like what you're saying would make sense if the song wasn't good, but the song is really good. So I don't understand why you would put out this really good supposed diss record about yourself. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really do anything for him that's good. Everybody likes the song. Everybody likes what Kanye West had to say. So it would be different. Like if he put out something that was bad, I would understand because it's like, okay, we put it out so A, we can laugh at Kanye, or B, so he can put out something that's way better than that. But here's the thing. The song is really good and has a really good verse from Andre 3000, regardless if it has anything to do with Drake or not. So what Drake is now going to essentially put out a diss song to a good diss song for Kanye West to diss him back? Like what incentive does Kanye West have to say anything? At this point, everything that's happening, while it does have to do with Kanye, isn't from Kanye. So why does Kanye have any reason to do anything? This is all being manufactured by Drake.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's all being manufactured by Drake. So now we're at a point where if Kanye doesn't do anything, Kanye never had. There's Kanye.
But why does he have to?
Kanye doesn't, because Kanye hasn't put out a diss song. There's a diss song that's out that was released by Drake, yes, but that diss song at the end of the day holds no weight. It's not. No one's talking about this as a diss song. We are talking about this as a good song. At the end of the day, if Kanye West was releasing this as a diss song, then yes, then it's like, okay, this is a hot diss song. This is a hot song. Drake hasn't done anything. Drake has already exposed, hey, I have a mole in your camp. We have Consequence going on IG Live talking about, yo, we got to figure out who the mole is in our camp, because now that automatically shows you, I know whatever your next move is, I predicted your next move, because that song was going to get released by Kanye. Regardless, that song was going to get released by Kanye. But what Drake did was say, hey, instead of you doing it, I'm going to do it. It's the same as if we were cracking jokes on each other.
And you called my joke before I said it.
Yeah. Like it's still, your joke could still be funny, but I called your joke. So it's not going, the impact that it's going to have is not as much. It's still, it is.
I know. And I, when you explain it like that, you're right. But here's the thing. This is why I think it backfired on Drake, because people are not taking it. People still enjoy the song a lot to the point where they think Drake took an L on this. They're not saying like, oh, well, Drake beat him to the punch. They're like, Drake, you just gave yourself an L. People are saying, more than the majority of people are saying, oh, well, this song is better than anything else, Certified Lover Boy.
Or Donda.
Or Donda. So like what you're saying isn't entirely wrong, but to the masses and to the majority of people, they're not looking at it like that. They're looking at it as like, well, Drake just gave himself an L. And I think with people looking at it like that, I think at the end of the day, it didn't fulfill Drake's goal of what he was trying to do.
Here's my thing about it. Well,
I don't think he was trying to give Kanye a alley-oop. I don't think he was doing this to help Kanye.
But he did.
Yeah, but he did. That's what this comes off to me. I don't think he intended to give Kanye a positive and something good, but he did it with his bad intentions.
So I have a question.
All right.
So with that being said, this song has came out. We think this is a great song.
Yeah.
Great song, not diss record, just a great song.
Right.
So how do you feel now if Kanye West puts out another album? If let's say Kanye West, when he puts out his whatever albums he puts out next, right? He doesn't put out anything that sounds like that. And it still goes in the Kanye fashion of on the left, going towards the left. What will your reception be from Kanye knowing that he made a song like this now?
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter because Drake put this out. So if Kanye
I'm not talking about Drake. I'm asking you, how would you feel about if Kanye put out music that doesn't sound like that?
I understand what you're saying, but the thing is that because Kanye West didn't put out this song that we all like, it doesn't matter if Kanye doesn't put out other songs like this that we like, because he never put this song out. quote unquote. Drake put it out. So if Kanye West put out 3 more Dondas instead of this, it wouldn't matter because he didn't put this out. It leaked. You know what I mean? From Drake specifically. So it's like,
Yeah.
it'd be different if the shit was just online and we were like, wow, we really want this. Drake put it out. Drake put out this good song on his radio thing. So it's like, that's the way we see it. Drake introduced us to this great sound from Kanye. So here's the thing, right? Let's say Drake decides to release a diss song back to the song. It's like, okay, well, one, it has to be either better or just as good as a song that you just put out from Kanye. Or because it's like, if it's not, then it's like you essentially manufactured your own L again.
See that,
like, you know what I mean? Like he put himself in a corner.
Yeah, he booked himself in a corner. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I understand it. That's like how the masses look at it. That's cool. To me, I don't subscribe to that part because to me, like I said, like I think this was like a really smart thing from Drake.
It depends on what he does next.
Yeah, like I mean, personally, I don't think Drake has anything he has to do. I think at this point the ball is in Kanye's corner.
I disagree with that.
I disagree too.
To me, I feel as though it's the ball's in Kanye's corner because at the end of the day, however you want to call it, he's literally a show like, hey, I have some insight to your camp. Anything that
part
goes,
is true.
Anything that goes on, if anything you're plotting on, anything you want to try next, I have a mold that's in your camp. So it's like, why I don't have to do anything. Even if I put out the song, you guys love it. Y'all say I lost. I took a L. I just also showed to this guy anything that you think and whatever your next move is, because I look at this all like chess. Whatever your next move is, I'm going to find out because I have a mole in your camp. So
if it's from that point of view, then that's very smart because then he's planting a seed of doubt in Kanye.
Right. And that is very smart. But now, I mean, because now we're getting away from the music. Now we're talking about personal shit.
Right.
I think like, does he really want to play a tit for tat type of thing with Kanye, with a guy who's much more richer than him? And you know what I mean? And who has the same access to shit that he does? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that Drake can't sell out arenas like Kanye, because I think they both can, but Drake doesn't have the bread that Kanye has. It's factually proven. So like, does he really want to go tit for tat for that? When Kanye said, well, I could buy out ACG, and ACG is the people that make his Nike brand thing, that's something Kanye can do. And I feel like, does he really want to go into a bidding war? You know what I mean? Because in Forbes list, every year we see Kanye, we don't see Drake on the Forbes list. We know Drake got bread. You don't have your own commercial airplane. You don't have the embassy that he likes to call without money. We get that. He doesn't have Kanye's money. Every list that you look at, top billionaires in the music industry, Drake is not listed in that. And as you know, Spence, as a person in finance, somebody who's a billionaire really got bread. That's not something to laugh at or be like, oh, that ain't nothing. No, that's a big deal. So I feel like, yeah, Drake, he could do that and all that stuff. But if you start making it personal where it starts becoming business oriented or money oriented and all that stuff like that, I'm like, is that a battle that he really wants to explore? Because I'm like, Kanye, it seems like Kanye has more resources than Drake at the end of the day. And so I feel like, yes, the fact that Drake was able to leak a diss before Kanye, yes, that looks good in Drake because it looks like, hey, I have strings that I can pull. But at the same time, in the long run, is that a battle he's willing to go downhill with?
I mean, but I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he is. And I only say that because I mean, let's be honest. What is this all rooted in? This is all rooted in this whole thing about his son. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised because I don't, if Kanye chooses to make a decision of like, hey, I want to go take this from you. Like, granted, it makes it hard. It's definitely not. It's not a fight that you can win when you're going against. If you got a couple hundred million, this guy is saying right now he's worth $9 billion. He has the resources and finances to back whatever he wants, even if you have corporations behind you as well. He can have those same resources and recruit certain teams that you may want to get into if we're talking from a business perspective. But when we're looking at this from, okay, I mean, when we're stepping away from music, that's what I see, and I agree with you there. But when we're looking at it from, hey, as these guys are music artists, that because if this was a real deal, at the end of the day, if this was like how they want things to be, this none of this could ever be in music. They can never diss each other on music, and this all could happen behind closed doors, right?
Yeah.
Kanye can never say anything, and Drake can never say anything, and we would just know they don't don't care for each other.
Yeah.
And it comes from, oh, this, and this, and oh, Kanye bought this from him, or the same way that how we once had Drake with Adidas, and then he chose to go with Nike after the whole leaked information off the disc. So I think from that standpoint, yeah, but like from a music standpoint, I think this is like it. I understand why it's a personal thing that he's willing a hill he's willing to die on at the end of the day. Now, from a business standpoint, like you said, financially, you can't go to war with someone that is just that far greater than you from in terms of resources, able to accommodate resources.
Yeah, I like both artists. I think they're both in the Four Warlords group. You know, listeners, go listen to that episode. They both are. I just think that it's interesting.